Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Nigga, this for wallet, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo guys got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of roll and flow like gangs. Look to the wild flag and play for dust, and they play too deep for beats. Little legs I can't too deep. Tell me your feature deceased, but then please, baby, by my grand, when you can't go follow
God bless you, working on
Back
the
on Wrestling. Welcome back to the CrosUp, the weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on June 2nd to SmackDown on June 6th, as well as Against All Odds, Worlds Collide, and Money in the Bank pay-per-views and special events, whatever you want to call them, PLEs. But we open Raw with a recap of Seth Rollins qualifying for Money in the Bank and then all the shenanigans that happened afterwards. We open the show proper with Michael Cole admitting that he lost the bet to Pat McAfee, so he'll be wearing a tank top for the show tonight, which ends up actually just being a Pacers jersey. And they're in Tulsa, so he gets booed pretty loudly, as obviously Oklahoma City is the Pacers' opponent in the finals. We then get CM Punk coming out after making some references to the finals. He moves on to Money in the Bank, which he has won twice. He's looking forward to doing it a third time because it's time for him to get some gold around here. There are two names at the top of the mountain, one of them being Jey Uso, who he considers a friend, but if he goes after him, it'll just be business. And the other name at the top is John Cena, and it's a bit more personal for him with Cena. Punk has always said Cena's number, and he might come to pick up the bones a bit on him. It's time for him to become champion one more time, so he'll see us at Money in the Bank after he qualifies later tonight. We then get Sami Zayn coming out to kind of interrupt him before he leaves. Punk says he usually hates being interrupted, but he does love Sami's song. Punk says... Sami says Punk has said that he wants to be world champion, but Zayn wants that as well. It just won't, for Zayn, it just won't be through Money in the Bank because he didn't qualify, though that still could be the case for Punk. Tonight, Punk has to win and needs to be there to stop Seth Rollins from winning Money in the Bank. If Seth Rollins wins, everything is over for them around here. However, if Punk winds up winning the title, Zayn will be coming for him. Which Punk seems to like, and they seem to kind of have like a little serious standoff at the end, but they seem to respect and still like each other for the most part. We then look back at Raquel and Roxanne arguing last week, kind of costing Liv Morgan a match with Kairi Sane. Perez offers Morgan help once again in her Money in the Bank qualifying match, but the best help, or Morgan says the best help that she could provide is to stay out of her way. Rodriguez then yells at Perez more as Liv leaves. Liv runs into Io Sky, who promises to use Money in the Bank against Io if she wins to get back her women's world title. Io Sky says that's not going to happen, and Morgan hits her catchphrase and says, "Watch me." We then get video of Stephanie Vaquer from NXT, who is now officially part of the Raw roster. She then wins the Money in the Bank qualifier against Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan when she hits the SVB on Ivy Nile. So she's in Money in the Bank. I believe that's the last spot, too, so she gets the last spot in the match. We then get Paul Heyman running into AJ Styles, wishes him happy birthday, offers him some information. Dominic Mysterio is still the Intercontinental Champion, and that means the title needs to be on someone better, like AJ himself. That's what Styles should focus on and leave Money in the Bank to Seth Rollins. Styles asks if Heyman is tired because he must have thought that was going to work. He says he'll get back to the Intercontinental Championship later, but for now, it's time for him to win his qualifier and win Money in the Bank. We then get a Rusev promo package. He tells Sheamus not to mess with him. Says Sheamus has a body of granite but a neck of sand, and he tells him to stay away from him or he'll snap Sheamus's neck. We then get Sheamus giving a rebuttal. Sheamus kind of gives the Alpha Academy and Maxine a pep talk. As for Rusev, his time outside of WWE lasted about as long as Rusev Day did, while Sheamus has been putting on banger after banger. If Rusev wants to prove himself, just remember that Sheamus bullies. So he is a bullier, basically. We then get the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and JD McDonough defeating the War Raiders when Roxanne comes out and provides enough of a distraction to allow Finn to knock Ivar off the top rope, or maybe I think JD actually knocks him off, but that allows Finn to hit the coup de grace and win the match. We then get Becky Lynch. She has only been back for 6 weeks, and Lyra Valkyria has already cost her a bunch. That's because she has forgotten everything Lynch has done for her, both here and in NXT. We then get Stephanie Vaquer. She cuts a promo in Spanish, but Rhea Ripley comes in to interrupt, and the fans go electric for this. That they pop really, really hard. And I'm assuming this photo of these two standing next to each other is going to be used a lot by some young boys out there. I'll just leave it at that. And the crowd is kind of so loud, they kind of speak back and forth to each other, and you can't even really hear them. But they basically shake hands to kind of end the segment, saying they kind of respect each other. We then get Lyra Valkyria coming out to the ring. She wants Becky Lynch out here to say this to her face. Becky then comes out with Valkyria talking about how much Lynch's mind has been poisoned to believe that Valkyria couldn't be a champion. Becky then said, or who is backing up against the ropes, talks about how Valkyria is really the one whose mind is poisoned for thinking that she could be Becky's replacement. The only thing that Valkyria needs to learn is how to raise Lynch's hand after Lynch beats her. Lynch then goes to leave, and Valkyria challenges her for a fight right now. But Becky says it's not happening in Tulsa. Valkyria then charges up the ramp, and they have a little bit of a brawl before the referees break things up. We then get a video package for Penta. He says he's basically ready to win Money in the Bank. Talks about how what all he's accomplished so far. And all that good stuff. We then get Sami Zayn and Jey Uso defeating Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed via DQ when Rollins comes out and hits the stomp on Jey. After the match, the beatdown continues, and Zayn is loaded up onto the announce table, but CM Punk is able to cut off whatever they were planning to do when he brings out a chair and kind of runs Rollins and crew off. We then get Liv Morgan. She's pissed with Finn Balor using Roxanne using Roxanne to win their match, but Balor says Morgan might just be jealous. Balor insists that there is no plan as it pertains to Roxanne. Morgan trusts Dominic, but Balor wants her to trust him. With Liv gone, Balor assures Dominic that things are all good. We then get Kairi Sane defeating Raquel Rodriguez via pinfall following the insane elbow. Sami Zayn is in the trainer's room when Karrion Kross comes in. Kross doesn't like what Sami Zayn has been doing, and Zayn asks what Kross wants from him. Kross then says that Zayn could be a 10-time world champion if he'll just do the right thing and be evil. The reality is Zayn is just like him, but Zayn says Kross is wrong. Kross then says, I may be wrong, but I also may be right too. We then get a video for Gunther, who is going to face Jey Uso next week for the World Heavyweight title. Gunther comes up to Uso in the back, talks about how Uso is trying to be a great champion. The problem is Uso refuses to think with his head instead of his heart, which is the wrong way to go. Next week, Gunther is getting his title back because he has known he would do this since the title loss at WrestleMania. Next week, the party is over, and Uso doesn't take kindly to this and says he'll see Gunther next week. We then get our final Money in the Bank qualifier, where El Grande Americano defeats AJ Styles and CM Punk when he nails AJ with the loaded mask as Styles was going for the phenomenal forearm. So he kind of just hits him as he comes into range for him. Punk had been taken out by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And then after the match, Punk goes after Breaker, but Rollins runs in, and they keep beating him down. The heels then wreck all the faces, and Reed drops a couple of tsunamis to end the show. The main event for me was the best match of all. And I'm not going to do top 5 pay-per-view or TV matches for this week because honestly, I just finished Money in the Bank, so I barely got through it, so I didn't really have time to put together that list. But I will do best matches for each show. But obviously, I really didn't have enough time to come up with that kind of list, so I won't be doing that at the end, just to throw that out there now. But we will move from there to NXT. We open with Laredo Kid, Javon Evans, and Ethan Page all coming out to start to kind of cut a promo talking about their 4-way at Worlds Collide. Paige makes it clear that Rey Fenix isn't here tonight due to travel issues and should be in the ring tap dancing on the memory of Ricky Saints. Now, though, someone named Sean Legacy is getting a title shot, but Evans and Laredo Kid both want the title this Saturday. Paige goes to leave, but Sean Legacy comes in to cut him off. Legacy would love to face both Javon or Laredo, but next week he could become a double champion, as he may win the Evolve Men's Championship on Wednesday night as well. The Vanity Project then comes in, which is another Evolve group, to say that Jackson Drake will be the one that wins the Evolve title, and they have Ethan Page's back. And then all the good guys and bad guys kind of brawl before Laredo, Legacy, and Evan will hit kind of stereo dives out onto the heels. We then see that El Hijo del Vikingo is here. We then get Dark State defeating Chase U, which is Kel Dixon and Uriah Connors when they hit the toss sit-out powerbomb on Dixon. We then get Ava with Sean Legacy, Laredo Kid, and Javon Evans. They said they need to find a partner to take on Ethan Page and the Vanity Project. They don't know anyone, but Dragon Lee comes in out of nowhere and says that he'll be that partner. We then get Trick Williams. He's arriving at the building and says he's ready to defeat Mike Santana tonight and retain his TNA World title. We then get a video of earlier in the week where Tyra May Steele was nervous about making her NXT debut as she was the female winner of the LFG series. Ariana Grace comes in to say that no one likes someone who talks too much. So Tyra May thinks that she has found her first opponent. So it's going to be her versus Ariana Grace later on tonight. We then get the match between Charlie Dempsey and Miles Bourne. Miles is able to win the British Rounds match over Charlie Dempsey, 2 falls to 1, winning the 4th fall via pinfall following a drop kick. This gives Bourne his freedom from the no quarter catch crew, so he can kind of do his own thing, or he can be with them if it so fits him. So we then get Izzy Dame attacking Brooks Jensen with a chair in the back. This apparently is him officially being out of the culling, so Brooks Jensen gets kind of dumped to the side once again. We then get Tyra May Steele defeating Ariana Grace via pinfall with a bridging German suplex. We then look back at JC Jane winning the women's title last week, which was, again, a huge surprise when it happened. She beat Stephanie. And then JC Jane says a line during the video where she says, "You all may be shocked, but I'm not," which was a pretty good line for her. We then get Mike Santana. He gives a fired up speech about being ready to fight to save TNA from Trick Williams. He knows how great Trick is, but tonight he'll be 3 seconds better. We then get Fatal Influence coming out to celebrate JC's win. Jane tells the fans to stay off the bandwagon now that she's won the title. The looks on everyone's faces when she won the title last week made her happy, and she was never shocked at all. She has put in the work for years and gotten better. The reality is that she and Fallon Henley have been friends for years, and they decided to fake fight to give her a better chance of winning the title. Lainey Reed, who I believe is from Evolve, comes out to interrupt and says Jane is the most beatable champion of all time. Lola Vice then comes out as well to kind of say she wants the title. Jordan Grace comes in out as well and does the same thing. Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan also come out, as well as Lash Legend and Thea Hale. And then they get into a big fight. The lights go out, and we get the debut of Mariah May, which says she wants the women's title as well. So we will see what she has for the future. We then move on to the Evolve Prime Minister. She's called Stevie Turner, and Evolve Women's Champion Kelly Armstrong. And she wants the entire Evolve roster to step up and possibly go for JC Jane as the women's champion. We then get Ethan Page and the Vanity Project. They're ready for their 8-man tag later on tonight. We then get that 8-man tag where Dragon Lee, Sean Legacy, Laredo Kid, and Javon Evans defeat Ethan Page and the Vanity Project, which is Jackson Drake, Brad Baylor, and Ricky Smokes, when Lee hits Operation Dragon on Baylor. We then get Obafemi and Jasper Troy. They have a tense showdown kind of in the back where they have a contract for a future match that they will have with each other. We then get Zarya and Sol Ruka. They run into Tatum Paxley, who says she didn't want to go out there earlier. Izzy Dame comes in and suggests that Paxley purge the people who aren't her real friends. We then get Tony D'Angelo talking to Luca Crucifino, who has gotten them a match with High Rise next week to show that they can trust each other again. D'Angelo says that Crucifino didn't get the family's permission, but Crucifino then says that they aren't really a family anymore, as obviously Stax has turned on them, and we haven't seen Rizzo since before Battleground. And then we get our main event where Trick Williams defeats Mike Santana via pinfall with the trick shot after First Class from TNA comes out and screws Santana. That match was definitely the best match of the show. A lot of, we had the Mariah May debut. It was probably the best moment of the show, seeing what she can do with the division after, they got purged pretty bad with Julia leaving, and then Roxanne and Stephanie both going up to the main roster. And I think Jordan's not too far behind. So we'll see if Mariah can kind of build it back up and be the person that kind of goes after JC and gets the belt from her real quick. But we'll move to Dynamite. We open with Toni Storm saying she's ready to tango tonight. We then get Will Ospreay coming to the ring for an interview. We see a clip of Ospreay and Swerve getting into a battle on Collision last Saturday. In the ring, Ospreay says he wants Swerve and Hangman to realize that Jon Moxley is the real enemy. Maybe they could put their differences aside for one night, and then they could kill each other. Moxley hates what Ospreay hates what Moxley hates what AEW has become, so Ospreay tells him to piss off. Ospreay is going to do his part to get the title back from Moxley, but Swerve might be getting in the way. That's why he wants to face Swerve next week. But for some reason, Crew comes out. Ospreay doesn't even know who they are until they come all the way out. He doesn't recognize their music. Crew doesn't want to hear it from the crowd and says the Brits, like Ospreay, love to talk a lot. Leo Rush then has some energy to burn off, and that's fine with Ospreay, who is down for a match later on Collision. Mark Briscoe does not like the implication that he gave up to Jon Moxley last week. Now his kids are doubting him, and it's time to man up, even if it's not about the world title. Moxley then defeats Mark Briscoe by technical submission when Mark once again passes out and the Bulldog chokes. So again, he doesn't tap, but he also passed out once again. We then get video on Mystico, who is supposed to come back next week. We then get Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa defeating Sky Blue and Julia Hart when Blue taps to the TCM chicken wing from Toni Storm. After the match, Storm eats, during the match, Mercedes Moné had been out there, and she had this little table. She had like a steak and some champagne or something like that. And the steak was the most overcooked piece of crap I've ever seen. And after the match, Tony goes over, grabs the steak, and just eats a huge chunk out of it, which I'm sure it tasted terrible. But it looked like just like a big chunk of wood, basically. We then get MJF. He comes up to Will Ospreay backstage. He says Will Ospreay can't get the world title if Hangman wins it. Ospreay goes to leave, but MJF mocks him again, earning him to get his jacket grabbed. The Hurt Syndicate then come in, and Ospreay thinks better of the situation. The Hurt Syndicate then come out. Bobby says he used to live here and is glad that he left for Texas. MVP talks about how there is no one who can challenge them for the titles. No one. With that out of the way, MJF says he wants the world title back. That brings him to Mexico and Mystico, who needs to understand that the best wrestler in the world comes from the greatest country in the world, and that's the United States. MJF sold out Arena Mexico because he is a star, and Mystico is a big fish in a small pond. Next week, he'll watch Mystico's match, and maybe he'll agree to face him at Grand Slam in Mexico. Commander, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight then come out with Commander insulting MJF in Spanish. Bailey says they're a group of international killers, and MVP laughs at them. The challenge seems to be on, as they will face them in a 6-man at some point. But the faces in that situation are in a 6-man next, where they defeat La Facción and Gobernables when Knight hits the UFO splash on the Beast Mortos. After the match, the Hurt Syndicate come out and say the winners can face them next week. The Syndicate comes to the ring and are quickly cleared out. When they get hit, and then they eventually get hit with triple slingshot dives. We then get the Paragon and Daniel Garcia agreeing to team up to face the Don Callis family later tonight. We then get the Patriarchy in the back. Christian Cage tells fans to sit down and shut up while he conducts his business. Cage talks about Nick Wayne's run in the Best of the Super Juniors in New Japan, and tonight he's going to defend his Ring of Honor television title in a 4-way, and Nick Wayne doesn't seem thrilled with this news. We then get Max Caster. He has a petition to declare himself the best wrestler in the world. Caster asks the referee to sign it while he gets the fans to do his chant. He lays out a challenge, of course. Powerhouse Hobbs answers it, and a spinebuster finishes things off in about 48 seconds. And then we get our fatal 4-way for the international title, where Kenny Omega successfully defends his title against Claudio Castagnoli, Mascara, Dorado, and Brody King when he hits the one-winged angel on Dorado. That was the best match. If Kenny Omega wrestles a TV match, it's probably going to get a lot of time, and it's probably going to be the best match on the show. Kind of the same thing with Ospreay. If Ospreay's on TV, he's probably going to have the best match. We then go to Collision, which was right after Dynamite. And we open Collision with Kenny Omega still in the ring after his successful title defense from Dynamite. Okada then comes out for a big stare down, and they both shove their belts in each other's faces. The brawl is on, and Okada goes to the body to kind of cut Omega down for his diverticulitis. Him having diverticulitis makes that part of his body susceptible. Okada tries the Rainmaker. Omega reverses out of it, tries to hit the one-winged angel, and then Okada kind of scurries. And we kind of have a stare down where Okada's on the ground and Omega's in the ring. We then get Ricochet. He says he's still searching for talent for his team that he's going to put together. We then get Will Ospreay defeating Leo Rush via pinfall following a Styles Clash. Post-match, Andretti comes in to lay out Ospreay. Hangman makes the save, and Ospreay leaves. Page says he appreciates Ospreay's help, but he does not need help to become the world champion. He will never take help from Swerve Strickland either, and he will roll into Texas and win the world title. Moxley then comes out, followed by the Death Riders, but Ospreay comes in with some chairs, and they chase them off before anything can happen. Don Callis and his family want the Outrunners and Bandito, and then Hinchicero comes in and says he's the newest member of the Don Callis family. We then get FTR defeating Templario and Atlantis Jr. when Dax trips Templario, who is attempting a suplex on Cash, and Cash gets the 3 on that. After the match, Stokely Hathaway grabs the mic to brag about FTR's success, and that's pretty much it. And then they just kind of bail. We then get video of Tekla attacking Jamie Hayter last week. We then go to the Don Callis family, represented by Fletcher, Takeshita, and Hinchicero, defeating Bandito, the Outrunners, and the Outrunners when Fletcher hits the Brainbuster on Magnum. We then get Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne. They attack Anna Jay, but Tay Mello out of nowhere comes back and returns. She's been gone for pretty near 2 years, but she makes the save and kind of runs Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne off. We then get Anthony Bowens declaring this month the Pride of AEW month and challenges Kyle Fletcher to a match next week. We then get Nick Wayne defeating Sammy Guevara, AR Fox, and Lee Johnson when he hits a Fisherman Buster on Fox to retain his TV title. We then get Tekla defeating Lady Frost via submission with the Death Trap. After the match, she continues to keep the hold on, but Queen Aminata runs in to make the save. And then after a commercial break, Aminata cuts a promo, says she's tired of people showing up here and trying to make a name off of her, so she'll face Tekla next week. We then get a big announcement from Tony Khan that's made by Tony Schiavone. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada at All In will happen, and it will be winner take all, as Omega is the international champion, and then Okada is the continental champion. So whoever wins gets both belts. We then get the main event where Paragon and Daniel Garcia defeat the Don Callis family, this time represented by Lance Archer, Josh Alexander, Trent, and Rocky Romero, when Cole hits the boom on Rocky Romero. So Rocky Romero has apparently just been added to the Don Callis family to be the fall guy, as he's been the guy that's lost every time that they have lost. So, but Paragon and Daniel Garcia get the big win there. But the Don Callis family match versus Bandito and the Outrunners was the best match. And then the 4-way for the TV title was also very good. But I'd give the nod to that 6-man tag. We then go to Impact. We open with Indy Hartwell defeating Tasha Steelz via pinfall with the Hertz Donut. After the match, Mustafa Ali comes out, pushes the referee and Tasha Steelz. Jason Hodgson gets in Ali's face before Ali leaves. Tasha and Skylar then join him as they go to the back together, leaving Hotch by himself. We then get a vignette that says Mance Warder wants to face Steve Macklin, and that's his new target. Steph DeLander then says that against all odds, they will get some gold back in their camp. We then get security camera footage of Zaya Brookside and Rosemary as they're locked in their isolated rooms without food and water for their Monsters Ball match later tonight. We then get Tasha Steelz in the backstage, and John Skylar asks if she's okay. Tasha asks why he would do something like that. Skylar has a call on his phone, and Tasha answers it and asks the person to talk to him. And Skylar says he'll make sure he gets the message. Mustafa Ali then walks in and asks if everything's good, and Tasha says it is. Jason Hotch walks in, and Ali says he's here. He's glad he's here to apologize, and he accepts his apology. He says the actions have consequences, though, and there will be consequences for his actions. He says that against all odds, he will represent all of them in the biggest match of his career, and that match will be against himself, Mustafa Ali. So Hotch versus Ali will happen at Against All Odds. We then get Moose and Eric Young, where Moose defeats him via pinfall with a low blow and a spear. After the match, for some reason, Eric Young goes after a fan and attacks him ringside, and then the rest of the Northern Armory join him as well. We then get a backstage promo by Danny Luna, who says she knows what Spitfire had, a bond. She says they don't always get fairy tale endings, though, and she is going to be a knockout that everyone remembers. She says she cannot wait to show everyone what she can do on her own. We then get Joe Hendry. He's cutting a backstage promo. It seemed like he was kind of off in his hotel or something. Says he lost the TNA title to Trick Williams. He says he was taking a risk after risk, and now the title is in the hands of someone who doesn't even work here. He says he let the fans down and he let his peers down. He says the TNA championship is for them and is the richest prize in the game. He says that he wants nothing more than to challenge for the title again, but he understands that isn't his spot right now, and he will support Elijah at Against All Odds, who is going to face Trick Williams. He says he's sorry. Maybe he got carried away. Frankie Kazarian then walks in and says he's not a saint, but that's coming from a king. He says he lost to somebody that isn't even on their roster. He says that wouldn't happen on his watch. He says that Against All Odds, he has one more chance to embarrass Hendry. So Kaz pretty much guaranteeing victory there. We then get the personal concierge, comes out and says Canada is a hellhole and degenerates, and then he introduces Heather and M by Elegance. The team by Elegance, represented by M and Heather, then defeat the debuting Mila Grace and Harley Hudson when M hits the moonsault on Mila, who had just hit the Spanish Fly on Heather, I believe. So it was kind of real quick, but M, aka Maggie, hit the moonsault to win the match. We then get a vignette from Rosemary, who says war is not won by merely fighting your enemies; it's won by bending their will. She says at Rebellion she embraced what she fears or loses everything she holds dear. So basically saying that Zaya Brookside is slowly but surely slipping and gonna embrace her evil side eventually. Zaya Brookside then defeats Rosemary in the Monsters Ball match following the Brooksy Bomb. So pretty brutal match. Ends up being match of the night, I'll go ahead and say. But really good stuff by Zaya and Rosemary there. We then get a vignette from the Rascals in their treehouse. They name a bunch of tag teams, great tag teams that have been tag team champions. They even mention Shelton Benjamin and his mama from WWE. Winston says they're going to win the TNA tag team titles from the Nemeths tomorrow night. We then get a vignette from Elijah, who's singing. He says Trick Williams is not calm. He's cracking already. He says it all starts within, and that's where legends begin. He says he's lost the plot. He says his spirit is weak. He promises to bring the TNA championship, and found out why the TNA championship walks his way. We then get a vignette for Lei Ying Li. She speaks in Mandarin, of course. She says she comes from China, and she's the only one who made it this far. She says she didn't come to challenge her. She came to end her reign, talking about Masha, obviously. She says that against all odds, she will walk in with one goal, to win. She says she can hold the title until someone takes it from her. Obviously, saying she's going to be a great champion for a long time. We then get Santino coming out to cut a promo. Says that against all odds, he will be stepping down for one night from his role as Director of Authority to have a match. He talks about against all odds and says if Robert Stone wins, he gets Santino's job. But if Santino wins, Robert Stone is out of TNA. He says he missed a lot of Ariana's life, his daughter, obviously. It was suffering, and he had an opportunity to come to TNA, and he fell in love with pro wrestling once again. He says he owes it to the fans, and he owes it to the competitors. He takes his job seriously. He thanked the fans and says he's stepping down for merely only one day, once again, like I said, because he's going to kick Robert Stone's ass. Robert Stone comes out and sarcastically says that was a great speech. He says the people may love him, but he's not a leader. He's a loser. And when he beats Santino at Against All Odds, he'll make sure that Santino is never allowed at TNA Wrestling again. This show will be Sheriff Stone's show going forward. Santino says the only way Stone wins is over his dead body. We then get a vignette for Masha for her title match against Lei Ying Li. She says she's facing someone. She's laser focused on her prey. She says if she could decide, or she could describe Lei Ying Li in one word, it would be warrior. She says every warrior has an Achilles heel, though, and she is going to find it. And she says it is high time she beats the best, as she's kind of been dealing with scraps lately. That's basically what she was trying to say. And then we get our main event where Matt Hardy, Leon Slater, and Mike Santana defeat the Nemeths and Frankie Kazarian when Santana hits the spin the block on Ryan. Like I said earlier, best match on Impact was that Monsters Ball match between Zaya and Rosemary, though that tag match was very good at the end of the show as well. We then go to SmackDown. We open with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman come out to cut a promo. They immediately get rained CM Punk chants on top of them. Rollins says he is ready to take everything tomorrow night when he wins Money in the Bank contract to gain absolute power. Then we get an OTC chant, obviously to piss Rollins off more. Rollins says no one can hear him on the island of irrelevancy, obviously making fun of the island of relevancy that Roman Reigns lives on or whatever. They're here to take care of anyone like Sami Zayn, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. None of them have ever cared about the people, but Rollins always has. He is willing to drag them into the future, and no one can stop them. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and JC Mateo then come out and interrupt for a big stare down. The two trio groups right now, kind of staring each other down. Sikoa says they're standing here. Is Braun Breaker supposed to be the right-hand man, like Jey Uso? Is Reed the new Sami Zayn? Rollins tells him to choose his next words very carefully, so Sikoa promises to win the briefcase tomorrow. Sikoa should be scared of Reed and Breaker, but he should be more scared that his family would rather stab him in the back than have his back. Maybe Fatu can stop being the Samoan Werewolf and should stop being called the Samoan Werewolf and start being called Sikoa's bitch. Sikoa is ready to fight, but Braun Breaker and Fatu get in their way for a big stare down. Pretty much all of them leave, but Jason Mateo ends up in the ring, and Jimmy Uso comes in and jumps in from behind for their match that is scheduled for next, where Jimmy Uso actually defeats JC Mateo when Jacob Fatu has a distraction kind of go awry, and Uso rolls up Mateo. After the match, Mateo yells at Sikoa that Fatu is the problem, and they kind of have a stare down and kind of seethe at each other. We then get Zelina Vega. She comes up to Julia saying that if Julia wants a shot at her title, she needs to earn it. We then get Damian Priest telling Jacob Fatu that he is coming for the U.S. title, which works for Fatu, but Priest better bring everything he has if he wants to take this from him. We then get a Bakersfield brawl where Zelina Vega defeats Piper Niven via pinfall, following a power bomb through a table after a little help with Julia and from Julia and a kendo stick. After the match, Julia pretty much immediately abandons the fact that she helped her and takes out Zelina Vega and leaves her laying with not much trouble. Cody and Jey Uso then are here. Jey is a little banged up from Raw. Jimmy Uso then comes in, and they all say they are ready for tonight and tomorrow. Aleister Black then cuts a promo. He thinks LA Knight stole a win from him, so now it's time to take something from Knight. Says in a match with no special rules, if Knight wins, Black will shake his hand and admit defeat. We then get LA Knight's rebuttal. Says this is the third year in a row he's in Money in the Bank, and he knows some people in this match. He knows most of the people in this match. He has some respect for Penta and Andrade, but there are some dummies in the match too. Those dummies are people like El Grande Americano Gable, Solo Sikoa, and Seth Rollins. Knight isn't going to let Rollins burn it down because it'll be a hot night with him in Los Angeles. As for Aleister Black, it's time for him to be disappointed again when he gets to Los Angeles, and then Knight actually kind of catches himself. He says, well, we're in Bakersfield tonight, but he's not making it to LA because he's not going to be on the Money in the Bank card, obviously. We then get that match where LA Knight defeats Aleister Black, but it's by disqualification as Seth Rollins starts to pick off his Money in the Bank opponents for the night, as he kind of does that throughout the night. But he attacks Knight to kind of soften him up for the ladder match tomorrow night. Post-match, Aleister Black is not happy with Rollins for costing him in the match, but Braun Breaker is in with the Super Spear. Knight then takes a Super Spear of his own, and the heels stand tall to end the segment. We then get Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce. They announced that the King and Ring tournaments will be back. We will start it with four-way matches, setting up the semifinals with the finals being on the Night of Champions show that's going to be in Saudi Arabia. And the winners, again, like last year, will get title shots at SummerSlam. Jade Cargill, obviously not having qualified for the Money in the Bank, says she is ready to win Queen of the Ring. And she is asked about her relationship with Bianca Belair, but before she can kind of talk, Charlotte comes in and interrupts, telling her to choose her friends wisely and that Charlotte is the only queen around here, so she'll be winning the tournament. Tiffany Stratton then comes in and wishes both of them luck in said tournament. We then get a Legado del Fantasma promo. They are ready to prove that they are the real family of Lucha Libre at Worlds Collide. We then get Chad Gable and American Made. They're here, and Gable says he's ready to win the AAA Mega title at Worlds Collide. Andrade and Penta then come in to mock him, speaking Spanish, and obviously Gable can't understand them. Nick Aldis makes a tag match with Penta and Andrade taking on American Made later on. We then get Tiffany Stratton out to cut a promo. Last year, she was the youngest Miss Money in the Bank and the it girl of WWE. Now it's time for someone to win the briefcase, and that means their world would be revolving around her. She asks Bakersfield what time it is, but Rhea Ripley comes out to interrupt. Ripley says she's never been in Money in the Bank because she's never had to before, because she's usually the champion. She does know what it's like to be champion, though, and she would like to be that again. Stephanie comes out and interrupts, and we then get our big 6-woman tag with all the competitors in the ladder match later on in the week. Or later on in the weekend, I mean. We then get Vakur, Ripley, and Bliss defeating Naomi, Roxanne, and Julia when Perez gets hit with 8 defeat by Vakur, and then Rhea Ripley hits Riptide in succession to kind of win the match. We then get Solo Sikoa. He's trying to calm down JC Mateo about Jacob Fatu, who's constantly insulting him, saying that Fatu's not all that bright. And Fatu obviously wasn't there, but he appears in the doorway after Solo's kind of done talking, and they walk away. So Fatu is pissed. We then get a videotape promo of the Wyatt Six. It's basically just Uncle Howdy. He talks about how grief continues. He has seen loyalty, trust, and brotherhood in the tag team division, but everyone wants to forget about them. They are not back for nostalgia or closure, but to destroy everyone. DIY then tries to rally the tag team division to go against the Wyatt Six altogether, but the rest of the teams kind of seem okay with fighting them on their own. We then get Penta and Andrade defeating American Made when Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer on Brutus. After the match, Penta and Andrade celebrate, but again, Seth Rollins and company come out to attack them. They beat them down, and Penta eats a tsunami to end the segment. They kind of stay out after the commercial break, and Paul Heyman says they don't fear the future because they are the future. Rollins has told them everything that would happen, and then it has all come to pass. They are the vanguards of the future of WWE, and tomorrow Rollins will become Mr. Money in the Bank once again, and then he will cash in and become the new World Heavyweight Champion once again. And then Cody Rhodes comes out, and Jey Uso follows him. We take another commercial break. Rollins and crew has basically bailed with Rhodes and Uso being alone in the ring. Cody asks the people what they want to talk about. Rhodes talks about John Cena calling him desperate last week. This is ironic coming from Cena, who threw 21 years of goodwill away and is now with Logan Paul, which is like seeing Michael Hayes with the Hardy Boys back in the day. Cena then comes out. He gets his big introduction as usual, and this allows Logan Paul to sneak in to start the big beatdown. Paul and Cena clean house, leaving Cena to say that no one is coming to save them. This is your future, with Paul holding up the World Heavyweight title. And then Cena tells people to humble themselves for Logan Paul before Cody and Uso get taken out again. Cena says that you want our truth, and this is the truth right here, as they're both holding up the titles and continue to beat down Uso and Rhodes. The fans want the truth, and Cena says that it's because they are all a bunch of losers. And then Paul and Cena once again hold up the titles to end the show. The preview for the women's Winning in the Bank, the tag match, was the best match on SmackDown for me. I thought it was really good, and I thought it was a good idea of things to come, because it was really well worked, and I was really excited for the women's Money in the Bank after that match. But we will move to our first of 3 pay-per-views. We get Against All Odds. The opening video is about the importance of the world title and how Elijah is going to fight to win it back for TNA tonight. We then get Steve Maclin defeating Mance Warner via pinfall following the KIA to retain his international championship. We then get the Hardys, Leon Slater, and the debuting Hometown Man, which is Cody Deaner in a mask. They defeat the System, the whole crew, when Slater reverses a spear into a small package attempt and gets the 3 from there. We then get Mustafa Ali defeating Jason Hotch when he hits a nasty overhead throw into the turnbuckles and follows it with a 450 splash. After the match, Ali won't shake Hotch's hand and walks away on his own. We then get an interview with the Inspiration, which is Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, the former Iconics. They returned during the pre-show, interrupting the Elegance brand, or the Team by Elegance, after their match, and they are glad to be back, and they are here to inspire. So they're pretty much going to be feuding with the Team by Elegance. So we'll see how that kind of goes. We then look at Trick Williams defeating Mike Santana to retain his title on NXT with First Class's help, obviously. We then get a First Class penthouse with the team yelling at the fans for saying rather unpleasant things about them. Their appearance on NXT was very popular, and the attack on Mike Santana makes sense, as he's annoyed them a few times in the past few months. They tease bringing Santana out, but he isn't here tonight. But then, of course, his music hits and he comes through the crowd. The security that First Class had proved worthless, as Francis throws Navarro at Santana. Santana power bombs Navarro through a table that they had set up, and then Francis comes back out and hits Santana in the back of the head with a champagne bottle and leaves Santana laying to end the segment. And Francis kind of carries Navarro to the back after the segment. I think at Masha Slamovich, she defeats Lei Ying Lee via pinfall following the Requiem piledriver. After the match, Killer Kelly returns, and they have a stare down. Her and Masha have a stare down to end the segment. They used to be tag team champions together, so that's a tag team kind of coming back and exploding. We then get Mike Santana in the backstage. He's looking for first class, but can't seem to find them. We then get our next match where Frankie Kazarian defeats Joe Hendry via pinfall with a rope-assisted roll-up after Hendry's bad leg had given out on him. After the match, Kazarian gets interviewed and brags about his win, basically saying Hendry doesn't know how to win anymore. And Hendry ends up trying to kind of chasing him off, but never catches him. We then get Robert Stone offering money to Matt Cardona, who's going to be the special referee's match tonight against Santino Marella, trying to bribe him to kind of be on his side. We then get the Nemeths defeating the Rascals when Nick hits the danger zone on Trey, and then Ryan follows it with the big Hollywood ending on Trey as well to win the match. We then get Eric Young. He breaks in backstage, but is cut off by Sami Callihan. They argue over how annoying it is that an outsider is the world champion. But security gets rid of Eric Young, who had been barred from the building for attacking the fan on Impact. We then get Santino Marella. He defeats Robert Stone. He wins via pinfall following the Cobra Strike. And then after the match, Marella thanks the fans for their support and promises to do his best job going forward. And then our main event, Trick Williams defeats Elijah via pinfall when First Class once again interferes and allows Trick to hit the trick shot to retain the TNA World title. Hotch and Ali was a match that I would definitely go out of my way to see. Ali's one of those guys that usually when he's on the card, he's usually probably in my favorite match or the best match, in my opinion, throughout the card. So, I feel like Sean Kidd, one of the other guys here on the Backbone Wrestling Network, said this, but these shows for TNA, these special events or whatever you want to call them, are usually pretty slept on, but they usually end up being pretty good shows, and they usually have at least one match kind of like that ends up being a pretty good banger. So if you don't watch the whole show, I would at least check out Hotch and Ali. We then move on to Worlds Collide. We open with the show with a presentation of both the Mexican and American national anthems. I can't remember the lady that sang the Mexican national anthem, but Lillian Garcia, of course, sang the American national anthem. Rey Mysterio, I think he was presented with some kind of award, but he comes out, speaks of the history of AAA and Lucha Libre, and he is happy that it is once again getting this large stage to show what they can do. It kind of gets the show started. We then get our first match, which is a trios match where Mr. Iguana, Aerostar, and Octagon Jr. defeat Cruz del Toro, Lince Dorado, and Dragon Lee when Octagon hits a fallaway slam moonsault driver on Dorado. After the match, Dom Mysterio pops up with the mic. He insults Octagon for being such a big fan of his deadbeat dad. And then they kind of brawl for a little bit and they're separated. And then Don challenges him to an Intercontinental title match later on tonight at Money in the Bank. We then get Chewy Martinez. He's our backstage interviewer for the night. He's on Evolve every week. He's kind of their backstage announcer guy. But he's with Legado. He says, how are they going to get things done tonight? Berto wants to know if Chewy is blind. He says, look at all of them. They're a specimen. Garza then says they come from a legacy as well. Escobar holds up the WWE logo and says that this means something. Lucha Libre means something as well, and they are ready to prove to the world that they own the Lucha universe. And they have two words for you: familia and legado. So they're very confident going into their match later on tonight. We then get Stephanie Vacour and Lola Vice defeating Dallas and Chick Tormenta when Vaquer hits the SVB on Dallas for the win. We then get Chewy Martinez again in the back. He is with Chad Gable. Gable has had some unsavory things to say about Lucha Libre. Chewy asks how he's going to be able to handle Vikingo tonight. Gable says this is the second home for him. Just look at him. This is going to be a great night, and El Grande Americano is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase later on tonight, and Gable will also be walking out as the new Mega Champion later on tonight as well. We then get Legado del Fantasma. They defeat Pagano, Psycho Clown, and El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. When Escobar hits the Phantom Driver on Wagner Jr. We then get Vero Rodriguez. She is with El Hijo del Vikingo in the back. He is going to fly tonight, and he is going to show Chad Gable that the real master of Lucha Libre is him. We then get Ethan Page retaining his North American title when he defeats Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Phoenix when he hits the Twisted Grin on Laredo to get the pinfall. They then announced that Triple Mania 33 will be taking place on August 16th. And then we get our main event where El Hijo del Vikingo defeats Chad Gable via pinfall following 6:30. And that match was absolutely incredible. Definitely go out of your way and watch that. As far as this whole show, I thought the Fatal 4-Way was really good as well. And I thought the opener was really strong. The only match that kind of was a stinker to me was that it wasn't really even a stinker. It had a lot of really cool moves, but the Legato match, the Pagano, he really didn't impress me all that much. He was kind of clunky and kind of stumbled around a lot. So I don't know if he was gassed or if he just was off his game for that night. He really kind of he was kind of disappointing to me. But the match around him was pretty good, but he was pretty disappointing. But definitely check out Gable and Vikingo, and then the Fatal 4-Way match for sure. But I would go with Vikingo and Gable for the match of the night. And then we'll wrap up this week talking about Money in the Bank. Naomi wins the women's Money in the Bank, retrieving the briefcase after tipping over a ladder with Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss. So Naomi is your new Mrs. Money in the Bank. We then get Dominic Mysterio defeating Octagon Jr. via pinfall when Liv causes a distraction, allowing Dom to hit the 619 and the Frog Splash to retain his title. We then get Chad Gable. He shows American Made the official Fireball ladder, as Fireball is a sponsor of that match later on tonight, and he tells them to hide it exactly where only a Grande Americano can find it. So we'll see how that comes into play. Becky Lynch then defeats Lyra Valkyria via pinfall when she reverses a roll-up into one of her own and then grabs a handful of tights, and this makes her the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. After the match, Lynch gets Lyra to raise her hand, as that was the stipulation, but she continues to gloat, gets her to raise her hand all around the ring, show it to each side of the fans. And then she gets her to strap the belt around her waist. And then this is too much for Lyra, who German suplexes her and then hits the Nightwing to lay her out for good. We then get the men's Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins wins it for the second time, retrieving the briefcase after hitting the stomp on LA Knight, as everybody else kind of been wiped out. We then get the announcement officially that WrestleMania 42 is now no longer in New Orleans, but in Las Vegas for the second year in a row. We then get told that Nikki Bella is going to be on Monday Night Raw, must be coming back to work since she had that really expensive divorce that she just went through. So she's coming back on Raw tomorrow night. And then Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeat Logan Paul and John Cena when R-Truth returns out of nowhere and takes out John Cena, allowing Cody Rhodes to hit the Crossroads to win the match. Really good card, really good show. Both Money in the Banks delivered. The women's Money in the Bank was the best match for me for the night. And I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best, women's Money in the Banks they've ever had. They gave them plenty of time. They went all out and destroyed each other. Men's Money in the Bank was really good as well. That tag was way better than it had any right to be. And then Becky and Lyra brought it again. So, I mean, Dom and Octagon was really good for the time when it was given, but it was only like 5 minutes. So, but every match delivered for me on that show. But a jam-packed week. We had a jam-packed week on Memorial Day week, and we had another one right here. So I think WWE is going to continue to have a bunch of shows going forward throughout the summer. So I think we have Evolution coming up, another Saturday Night's Main Event. We have that Night of Champions pay-per-view in Saudi coming up. So just continued jam-packed weekends for WWE, NXT, and AEW and all that stuff. So a bunch of pay-per-views, a bunch of great shows. So continue to check them out. Continue to check me out, and I'll see you next week.
You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finished. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
It's gon' be what it's gon' be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step. A raw stance is a gift, and you insist it's my rep. John Cena trademark, y'all are so-so. And talk about the bread you make, but don't know the recipe for dough. Aiming guns in all your photos, that's a no-no. When this pop, your lip lock, your big talks a blatant no-so. See what happens when the ice age melt. It seems monetary status is not what matters, but it helps. I'm rocking Timepiece by Benny, if any. The same reason y'all could love me is the same reason y'all condemn me. A man's measured by the way that he thinks, not clothing lines, ice links, leather and minks. I spent 20 plus years seeking knowledge of self. So for now, Mark Breck is living life for wealth.
Your